What's going on, guys? Before we get into today's show, we are still in our sub battle. We were racing to 100 subs over the last couple of days with our Knicks Now and our Celtics Today show, and guys, we're right there. So if you guys haven't hit that subscribe button, I am begging you to please go down there and subscribe to the Bulls Report. We just need 12 of you guys. Hopefully we get there before Celtics Today or a Knicks Now show does. So really appreciate your guys' support. We're just going to keep you covered with any Bulls news, rumors, whatever it may be. Free agency is right around the corner, so you want to be the most informed Bulls fan you can be, and we can help you do that. So go down there and hit that sub button. But on today's show, we're going to be diving into 3 NBA free agent targets that the Bulls could sign during 2023 NBA free agency. All 3 of these guys have been linked to the Chicago Bulls, whether it's been an NBA insider analysis, whatever it may be. There has been some buzz around the Bulls potentially signing these 3 fellas. So let's start off with the number 1 free agent on today's show, and that's Brook Lopez. And I'll tell you what, I am an absolute big fan of Brook Lopez. And a reason that we connected Brook Lopez to the Bulls is because according to the bookmakers out west, the Bulls find themselves 4th in the Brook Lopez sweepstakes. They're saying if he would lead the Bucks, that the Rockets would be the favorite. And then he's got the Celtics and the Lakers, and then the Chicago Bulls coming in at 4th. And we know the Bulls. They're going to be diving into the luxury tax this upcoming free agency period. AK said he got the green light to spend whatever he wants. So it's going to be exciting to see if the Bulls are going to make moves. But I've always been a fan of Brook Lopez. I mean, he is a defensive anchor for that Milwaukee Bucks team, and his numbers over the past 4 years kind of back that up. I love Brook Lopez because he has that stretch 5 ability, but he also has that rim protecting aspect to his game, which is a very rare combination, especially in the modern day centers in the NBA. It's honestly a perfect fit for me. But this past year, scoring almost 16 points a game, 6.7 rebounds per game, 2.5 blocks per game, and shooting the living crap out of the ball at 7 foot, being able to shoot 37.5% from 3. I absolutely love it. And I think Lopez has great value. I think when in terms of contributing to winning, Brook Lopez, does it on probably the highest level out of any center in the league. Like, yeah, you have better centers in the league, like Jokic and Embiid. Like, yes, they are better players. But in terms of just they're contributing to winning as like a 3rd or 4th option, Brook Lopez is on a very short list of guys I would want. I mean, the fact that he's able to rim the 3-point line every single possession. When he's sitting on the 3-point line on offense, he can just take a nice little sprint back and be a defensive anchor for any defense. I think that's an incredible asset to have. And we know having a rim protecting center in the modern day NBA, it just helps your defense so much because then your guards can kind of funnel them towards the paint and just let Brook Lopez deflect passes and then obviously block shots, which he does at an extremely high level. Brook Lopez, if there's any free agent that I hope the Bulls sign, probably either Brook Lopez or a Seth Curry. But if the Bulls sign Brook Lopez, I mean, I'll be freaking excited about that. I love him. I love his game. I just love what he's about. And I love that he's just about winning basketball. But I'll ask you guys, this would be the pinned comment on today's video. Would you sign Brook Lopez? If you're AK and you're sitting down with his agent and they say, we want to come to Chicago, would you offer him that contract sheet? Give me an S for sign or a P for pass down in the comments section. Number two on my list is the kid out of Rockford, the guard out of Illinois, Fred VanVleet. There's been a ton of buzz about the Bulls, going and getting a point guard, and a lot of people have been kind of connecting Fred VanVleet as that option. I saw a trade rumor that floated out there from The Athletic, actually. It was Lonzo Ball and Patrick Williams for Fred VanVleet in a sign-and trade. I probably wouldn't do that, but it was just a trade rumor that was kind of thrown out there. But Fred VanVleet, I mean, he's been awesome the past couple of years. I mean, upping his scoring average to almost 20 a game over the last 3 seasons, I think that's been huge for him, but it's the efficiency. And I understand the usage rate has been higher in the past couple of seasons. Obviously, that's why his production has gone up. But shooting 38.9% in 2020-2021 season, with just under 37 from 3. And then this past year, again, 20 a game, 7 assists. That looks good, but it's the efficiency, just under 40%, and then just over 34 from deep. And this would be a fun pickup. Like if we're talking 2K or like if we're going to the park and we're rolling out a starting 5 and it's like VanVleet, Levine, DeRozan, even if you do re-sign Vooch, like that would be a fun team. The offensive firepower would be there. Like the Bulls would be able to put up a lot of points, but he wouldn't fit. I just don't think like a combination of VanVleet and Zach LaVine in the backcourt, I don't think they mesh really well. And we know in the modern day NBA, size matters. You got to be physical. You got to be a physically imposing team Because if you look at the past NBA champions, I mean, the Nuggets, they were a big, physical, imposing team. The Warriors are kind of that outlier, but that's just because of how special they are at the guard position. And I don't think LaVine or VanVleet could be able to replicate that. But even going back before that, like the Bucks, a big physical team. The Lakers in that bubble year, again, a big physical team. Even dating back to that Raptors team before that with Siakam, Kawhi, Marc Gasol. Like they were big, big dudes. If you're going to roll out VanVleet, LaVine, DeRozan, and Vooch, there's not a lot of strength and not a lot of physicality from the group. So I think it would be fun. I think it would put some butts in some seats, but I don't really know if it would contribute to winning at the highest level. But guys, free agency, it's just around the corner. We're going to be live here at Chat Sports during the entire thing. We have the best NBA coverage on YouTube. I promise you that. So if you see this thumbnail on your YouTube page, make sure you click on it. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a ton of fun. As we all know, July, that late June and early July period in the NBA, it gets really hectic. So there's going to be a ton of moves, and we'll be breaking down it all. So if you see this thumbnail on YouTube, make sure you click on it and hang out with the Chat Sports crew. Number 3, another little Chicago kid, actually, Jevon Carter. I've been a huge fan of his game dating back to his days at Press Virginia, actually, when we would see him getting picked up or picking up people full court. I've always been a fan of him, but it was actually Harvey Glassbrook. He does some writing for Chicago Bulls Wire, and he actually connected the Bulls as a possible destination for Jevon Carter. He said the Chicago Bulls are in dire need of a floor general. After once promising guard Lonzo Ball underwent another knee procedure last April, there's no assurance that the UCLA star would be returning to an NBA floor anytime soon. And with Coby White, Ayo Dosunmo, and Pat Beverley becoming free agents this offseason, the Bulls seem to have a void at point guard. This is where Jevon Carter can step right in, fresh off an astounding season for the Milwaukee Bucks, where he racked up a career high in numbers in nearly every category. The 27-year-old can opt out of his current contract and assume a more prominent role with the Bulls. And he's right. I mean, Jevon Carter this past year, we've seen the numbers double just because he was getting more minutes and just more usage for that Bucks offense. He averaged 8 points a game, 2.4 assists a game, and really solid efficiency. And if you guys remember, he actually had a game where he had a 30-point triple-double this past season when I believe it was like Drew Holiday and another Bucks guard were out. So he ended up being the starter, and he ended up playing his ass off. And I've always loved Jevon Carter, mainly for this reason. He's one of those guys, he's just got that dog in him. Like, he's from Chicago, and he is like the definition of a Chicago point guard. Like, even in the high school days, I remember watching his high school mixtape, and he was picking dudes up full court, sitting in that stance. And you see him at West Virginia the next year, and you see him picking up dudes 94 feet, and you're like, that dude has that dog in him. And now, obviously, in the NBA, he's the same way. He's picking up dudes full court. He's sitting down in that chair and offering that defensive intensity, which I think is so important in the modern-day NBA. And he also offers a lot of winning experience as well. Like, I think sometimes as fans, we undervalue like winning and playoff experience. I think just sometimes we look more at it, the glam and the glitz of just a player and whether they will be able to go get a bucket at a park instead of actually knowing what they do on the defensive side of the floor and really the dirty things. If you look at a guy like Draymond Green, I know this is a pretty chalk example, but Draymond by no means is the most skilled guy offensively. Like, he's probably the least skilled offensive player in the entire NBA. But what he does defensively, what he does kind of communicating, that kind of connector piece on the offensive side of the floor, I think Jevon Carter can do that just at the guard position. He's got that dog in him. I've been a big fan of his game dating back to his high school days in Chicago. And like I've said it a lot with most of these guys, with all these guys that come out of Chicago, I think it'd just be a little extra motivation if you're wearing that Bulls red and playing for your hometown team. But ask you guys, would you sign Jevon Carter? If you're the GM, you're AK, you're Mark Eversley. Would you sign Jevon Carter? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no down in the comment section. And guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're only 12 subs away from winning our subscriber ways to 100. So if you guys made it to the end of the video, clearly we're doing something you like. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, let's change that. Go down there, hit that sub button. We're going to be your one-stop shop for all Bulls free agency news, rumors, anything. We got it covered. So subscribe now. And as always, go Bulls.